Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and what I have here is a piece of foam I cut off of a foam building block. You could use a piece of that Dollar Tree foam or cardboard or anything really, I suppose. And all I want to do is I want to mount this on here so that I can create kind of a thicker base. And what I want to do is I want to build a hover car or maybe some kind of tracked car for futuristic scenarios. Something that's going to be interesting and different and can hold miniatures and fight scenes and stuff. So I'm going to glue that on there. I'm going to let that cool for a second, and then I'm going to snip off my excess crap, just like this. Life is so dull, it ain't cutting shit. So anyways, got a little bit of excess back here. It's going to be hard to shave, but we can get it. I know, guys. Cool. All right. So something like this. Now, the front of my hover car or vehicle, I don't want it to be completely flat. So I'm going to get a paint lid and just kind of eyeball that and mark it off. And I'm going to cut that off too. Just like that. Just make it a little free-formed. And I'm using that inside that black line as my guideline. And I'm just going to do it in a few passes to make sure I have a nice, good, even cut. Let me move my phone up here so you guys can always see what I'm doing a little better. I haven't made videos for a while, so kind of forget like my cues and where things have to be for everybody to see them. I need a better knife. I don't feel like snapping blades off and dealing with that at the moment. So see if I got something sharp. This might be sharp. We're almost there. Okay. Something like that. And then we just got to build it up. So to build it up, we're just going to get some cardstock and just cut this up into some strips so it's easier to work with. And you just want these to be vaguely squared off. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be gluing them to the sides of this vehicle. And we'll be able to make that work. Wrap all the way around? No. Let's see if I have something a little bit longer laying around here. I have a piece of a little bit thicker cardboard here. This will work equally well. So let's use this. And let's make it, I don't know, about that tall. This should wrap most of the way around the car, I'm hoping. And it might, or it might not. Looks like it will wrap all the way around the car with some excess. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here on this side. I'm going to get some hot glue. Kind of work it in that gap there. Set that there. Flush it up to the back and hold that in place. Let that solidify. And then I'm going to get my front. I'm going to wrap that around really tight, like that. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. It's pretty sturdy. And I'm going to get in here. And I'm just going to wrap that back around. Make sure that's flush. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to snip off this little bit on the back. I'm just going to use the flat edge of my scissors to do that best I can. Do I have any more of that cardboard? Where did I have that cardboard I just cut at? I lost that whole piece I cut. No problem, I'll just get another one. Oh, there it is. It's under this. Okay, let's get another little piece of this to use. Something like that, maybe. See if our height's about the same. Okay, a little bit more. Okay. We're going to peel off some of that excess glue I got, and we're going to mount that to the back. And if it's a little bit lower, that's okay, I think. A little dab there, some across the butt, a little dab there. And we'll just shove this on here like that. Then I'm going to pull it up a little bit, let it dry, holding the edges. Okay, so I want 4 miniatures to fit comfortably in this. So pretty sturdy. So let's get a piece on the front here. I'm going to grab something. We're going to get this. We're going to set that there like that. Make sure that that's kind of even going across the front. Yep. And I'm just going to cut off my excess there so it's not in my way as I move forward for my next part of my plan. The next part of my plan is to take that and get a fine bit of glue and glue that onto the front. Trying to make it squared off in the middle the best I can. Okay. Then I'm going to get scissors, and those ones are pretty dull, so I'm going to get a sharper pair. And I'm going to work my way around. Yep. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing in the back. And I need, like I said, I want to fit 4 miniatures in there. So I want to have this set up to where at least 4 minis can fit. So let's put a little panel across the back, and that's going to be easy enough to do. All we're going to do is get some of this, a little bit of glue, just like that. Set it across the back so it's sturdy. Then we're going to snip off the excess, just like that. We're starting to get the shape of our hover car. Now we're going to fix the back and sturdy all that up. So to do that, I'm just going to get another piece. I'm going to glue this like that and set it flush. And use that to clean up my back end. And then I'm just going to use my scissors to clean that up. Just like that. And then we're going to need some decorative type stuff, so to kind of like make this a little more less like a box. So to do that, first we're going to add some trim. And to add trim, I'm just getting thin cardstock pieces, and I'm cutting those about 1/8 of an inch, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I'm not measuring. I'm just guessing. Running out of oxygen here. So I suppose you guys are wondering where I've been. And I was having some really bad migraines, and then I tried to like take some of the stress out of my life and cut down on some work and stuff. And then I eventually had a mini stroke. And because of what the other guy that runs Dungeon Swag and my wife working quickly, they were able to get me to the hospital and stop it from becoming a full-blown stroke, and they saved my life. So I really don't drink so much, and a lot of things I used to do anymore. Things have changed drastically for me, and that's good, I guess. We're going to call that okay. That's okay. That's life now. So I want to fit this in there in the back. So what I want to do is I want to come in just a little bit so this slides in here snugly like that. Okay, just like that. And then once I get it flush in there and looking good, pull that up a little bit. Once it looks okay, I'm just going to get a bead of glue. I'm just going to get that in there nice and sturdy. I'm going to get a little glue here, just a tiny bit in that crack, and I'm going to mush that in. Okay, and that's going to make that stay there forever and be sturdier. I have a piece of loose crap there, that's okay. Alright, so I want to trim this out so it looks decent. So what I'm doing is I'm going to center this the best I can back here. I'm going to put a thin dab of glue right down that where I want to set it. I'm going to center it the best I can. I'm going to let that sit for a moment and cool. I'm going to double check these to make sure they still look even. I'm going to snip a tiny bit off that side. And then I'm going to come down the side with it. Just like that. Too easy. Nothing too fancy. Just like that. And that's how I'm going to trim this thing out. And I'm going to do the same thing on the front. I'm going to try to find the center the best I can. Okay. Okay. I'm going to snip off a little bit there where I went too far. Very thin bead of glue. I'm going to wrap that around to where it intersects on the side, and that's going to be awesome. Okay, that's looking decent. Now we're going to need to get strips and do these side pieces here. And this is going to be kind of like to just dress that edge up a little bit. So we're going to get a little bit of glue in this crevice. Just like that. Set that there. Pull that out to the edge. Get that little bit extra glue out of there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just getting that little crevice. Okay. Not bad, not bad at all. Okay, we'll snip off this excess, following the front contour of the vehicle. And then we have to trim this back area up. And to do that, I think I'm going to get a piece of granny grating. And glue that on and then cut the excess off. So I'm going to try and line that up to where it's going to look the same on both sides. Just like that. I'm going to snip that off. Okay. Now I have some little piece here, and you can use any kind of little piece you have. This is from a broken transformer, and I think this would make a really, really good front piece of my car. But first, I have some excess trim here. I just want to try to snip off some of that, just so it's not sticking out and obnoxious. On this side, there we go. Something like that. I would like to fix this front end a little better. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of that cardstock. I'm going to glue that on there and cut that off flush. So I'm getting that on there just nicely like that. Making sure it's glued down. Put some pressure. Then I'm going to snip off Following that contour the best I can. Clean that up a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to get, do I have any thin pieces left? Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to kind of have that coming down some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I'm going to get a little, but not cut this, I'm going to glue this, just a little line kind of running parallel to that. I'm going to put this thicker piece here, get that in place, to where it's a little bit inlaid from that one. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now, you don't need to use this for my game or any other game. You could use this for whatever you want. You could just make these to play with, or you could make these for like a Warhammer 40K maybe, or anything you wanted. You know, you don't have to follow my exact directions. Use your creativity to get it where you want it. You know what I mean? Let's get those snipped off. And let's get my cool piece here that came from, I think, a broken transformer. I'm not sure. And let's get a little bit of glue in there to hold that. Pop that down. Make sure it's flush and not going to move. Okay. And let's get that on there. I wanted a windshield of some sort, but I don't think that's going to be a reality for me. This might look better on the back, actually. Let me see what I can do with that. That looks kind of dumb on the front and the back, really. Let's see if we can get it on the back. Can I snip this? Probably not. Where's my saw? Let's snip this off. And we'll strip off some of our excess there. Try to clean that up a little bit. Cool, 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 cool. And we'll mount that on the back like that. That definitely looks better than the other way. I don't know where that meets up, so let's get a little bit of glue here. There we go. Put that there. Just like that, centered the best I can, just eyeballing it. Then we need something else for the front there. Let's trim out these sides a little bit, and let's get rid of this back part here that looks a little rough. So to get rid of that back part that looks a little rough, I have some little coffee stirrers, and I think those will work just fine to cover that up and make that look decent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my coffee stirrer, some glue. I'm going to push that out. I'm going to run that back and forth and twist it a little bit to get a good bond. I'm going to let that cool for a moment. Snip that off right at the edge of the car. Then we're going to cut this in half. Roughly the same length. Looks close enough for me. We're going to come here and cover that too. So I'm going to get that seam. I'm going to cover that up, twist that back and forth a little bit and get it in there good. Just like that. Same thing on this side. Just like that. Twist it back and forth a little bit, get a good bond. Ow, my spleen. Okay. Cool, something like that. Now we could put this on a base if you wanted to, or you could just have it elevated. And we need something for that front end also. And I kind of want to put something else on the sides, like maybe more of those coffee stirrers. Where did I put those? Here we go. They're right here. So I kind of like to just decorate these sides a little bit here underneath that trim. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these coffee stirrers, then I'm going to cut them off the best I can. So I'm just going to get a little strip there. Oops, that was ugly. A little strip there. Okay. One side. Two sides. Okay. Then we get my little snippers for this. I'm going to snip those off as flush as I can to that side. On both sides. Whoops. That was terrible, but it worked. Let me clean that up. Make it a little more match the other side some. Okay. We need something for the front still. I have no idea what I'm doing there. I could look at my parts bin, but I know something that we have laying out that might just be perfect. And if you have a bunch of empties of these, like I do, this might be what you're searching for. Whoops. All right, that's not going to work. All right, hold on. That might be too big. Kind of too big and silly. That would have been awesome on the back. I need two of those. Make sure they're about the same length. Booyah. Oh, that's going to be sick, dudes. All right, seal those up. The easiest way to do that would be to get some, cardstock and glue it on there, or if you have a round button or something. So I'm going to look and see if I have any kind of round buttons. I have these that I got at the Dollar Tree, and they look like they are going to do just perfectly. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I am going to snip a little bit of this down. Okay. All right. A little bit of glue on the inside here. We'll stick that back on there. Okay. We'll let that sit. Do the same thing on this one. Put it back on there. Let that sit for a minute. And I'm going to glue them where that seam is. I'm going to glue them on the side. Just like this, facing backwards. Just like that. Okay. Getting good. Looks a little bit like the land speeder from Star Wars if you look at it just right. Now I have these cool things, and I'm going to definitely use one of these on the front to be like a headlight or something. Yeah, definitely. So we need a tiny dab of glue. And our ugly little round piece. Booyah. All right, we still need something to help keep this elevated, like some skids or some landing stuff. Anything like that would be perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of my things of beads, wherever they are. There's some plastic beads here. Sweet. All right. I have these plastic beads, which are super good for this kind of stuff. I'm going to grab a handful of those. Looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the bottom, where I want my tracks to go, I'm going to grab some of this fluffy crap off here. Some of those spider webs. Put one there, put one there. And to get those on, I'm just going to shove it there, get a bunch of glue on it, and then move it where I want it so it gets a good bond, just like that. I want those to be kind of even. And I don't want my front skids to come all the way up, so I'm just going to do a glob there and a glob there. Shove it in place, move it around until I get it where I want it on both of those. Sweet. Okay. It's pretty good. I want to sturdy this up, so I'm just going to get a little bit of glue in there. Sturdy that up a little bit. Now, it's off the ground a little bit, and it's not on a base. I can use it to lay it down. It would be nice to have skids. You know what would make really good skids for that? Hold on. A couple of these would make really good skids for that. So to make sure they're the same, I'm going to hold them next to each other. I'm going to cut them with one solid cut. Now they're equal. I'm going to get them on there. Just like that. Trying to come a little bit from the outside edge in. So I'm using the border of that rough cut, you know, using the border of that as my guideline. Let me find my blowgun, my burner thing. Where is my burner thing? I've lost my burner thing. Stand by, found it. Okay, we're just gonna burn up. Oh, my gas is off. We're just gonna burn off any excess crap. Clean up. We're going to make sure we hit the plastic parts a little better so that paint sticks to them easier. Okay. That's a Dollar General blowgun, blowtorch. It doesn't work nice. Alright, so I think we're looking pretty good here. Pretty sturdy. Everything we need, but we're going to need to have the way to mount this to paint it. And we're going to need some studs. So to mount it to paint it, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to put a big bead here and then glue it to that. So let's see if I got a big bead we can use. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We got one. I'm going to get that kind of on there good. Mush it around some. A little bit up the sides and back down to the base. Get a solid, sturdy kind of deal. We'll let that cool for a minute. And let's get some studs on this to make it look pretty. So let me get a piece of cardstock or cardboard here. A little bit of super glue. And some studs. Let's decorate this up. And we still don't have anything for right here. Need to figure that out as well. So I'm looking for my little metal cup of beads that I use. And a poker. Okay, cool. These are gem beads from those little like gem bead paintings. My wife and my mom both do those, so I am in luck. I have an excess. So I'm just going to get some in some spots that I think would look nice. And that would just add some cool details to the car. Now remember, no vehicles are really brand new. So one of the things I've forgotten, that in my hellish future here, is that I need some repair plating or something to show that this thing has not been kept pristinely. So I'm going to do a couple things real quick. One, I'm going to put this in the floorboard to break that smoothness up there so it's a little more interesting. And then I'm going to make a little bit of a... Oh, I didn't put a piece in here. Let me get a piece of that real quick. Dab of glue on the bottom of that. I'm just going to get that in place carefully, 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 so it doesn't move, just like that. Okay, I'm going to pop that right under there the best I can. Dab of glue in the corner and just smooth that around in there. Same thing on this side. There we go. Sweet. Now I need my burner gun that I had earlier. Let's get rid of that spider webs. And let's get this thing on here. And we need to figure out what we're doing on the front there yet. I don't know. I just don't know. Let's get a bead on there so we can pull that off the top of that bead and then scrape it off the bottom of our car. Let's get our car in place. Let that cool. What was I doing? Oh, I was going to make a piece to show there was a repair on the hood, but I'm going to put an ornament on there first to see how it goes. So what can we use for an ornament? I don't know. I have a bunch of garbage everywhere, but I don't have any good parts for that laying around. I have a wood thing here. What's this? None of this looks like it's good for that. I need like a transformer head or a little wing from something. That's really what I need. Oh well. I had something laying over there. I can't find where I put it. Hello, the pieces. I lost them. They're gone forever. You know what? We'll just be creative. I found a little piece of popsicle stick. And we're just going to set that on there the best we can. Okay. And then we're going to get a couple of little pieces of battle repair stuff. Okay, and we're going to get a little bit of glue, just make a dot, and then drag that around, make that look like it's just welded or something, just like that. We're going to do that over here too. We're going to do that in any spots where things don't look right. We're going to cover up our mistakes with those kind of battle damage things. Things that you dislike or things that don't look good. You can feel free to add and subtract from my method. Do your own thing, that's important. Okay. I'd like to get a piece on this side over here, like this has been repaired. So I'm just going to cut a square. I'm going to snip a corner off it. I'm going to curl it like that. Just like that. Put that on there. Hold it tight. Let it cool. All right, so you want to sturdy some of this up. It's a little wonky and some of these areas will be loose. So to do that, all you got to do is get a little bit of glue in places that you're worried about. Let it run down and let it dry. Just let it dry out. once I get them on in some of these spots where I feel like I need it, it's going to add some different texture to this thing too, actually, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue back there, make sure that's sturdy on those. Make sure those don't come loose, right? Okay. I think everything's going to be sturdy at this point. We'll see. We'll know in a little bit here, won't we? When we're done, we're also going to put a windshield on this during the paint phase. So this is looking like it's going to do everything we want it to. I'm just going to get this. I'm going to smear some of this glue around. So maybe it'll dry with a little bit of texture when it dries. Maybe. We don't know. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna. Okay. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna use the minor burning hand spell. There we go. Alright, so that's what we got, kids. Or people. Something like that. It's gonna be a souped up land speeder look. It's gonna be something that can float but not fly real well, or it flies barely off the ground and clumsily at that. That's going to be the key, is that it's clumsy. And I'm going to get a little glue on this back here to make sure this doesn't come off too. Okay. All right, when I come back, we'll paint it up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and all that happy crappy. Check out our website, www.dungeonswag.com, or check us out on eBay. Thanks for watching.